Today we're going to discuss how we set up a visual representation of the data table, what we call a graph. So when we graph something, we base it on a data table. Okay, so we're going to use the information that we had from collected the other day and put in our data table, and we're going to graph it. So first things first, we have to place the independent variable on the horizontal axis. So we're going to write down here hours of sunlight. And on the vertical y-axis, we're going to write the dependent variable. Okay? And that's going to be do it like this. Growth of ryegrass in centimeters. You really should write it along here. It's just the computer program's not allowing me to do so. So it should be written going up and down the side here. All right, just like the bottom is. All right, and then you're going to set up an appropriate scale at each of the axes. All right, so you hear, we're talking about centimeters here. Now, what you want to do here is you're going to want to count the lines. We're going to start this one at 0. But we're going to count the lines. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's not 22 lines, so let's go up by units of 2. Because every line is worth 2 centimeters. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Now going across, we have 12 hours. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we can't go all the way across, so we'll go up by 2 hours there as well. So we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, notice though, at each one of these numbers or units, whether it be centimeter or hours, are located right at the line, not in between, because this is a line graph. If it were a bar graph, it would be located in between. But this is a line graph, so you're going to make sure they're associated with the line. And if they are in between, make sure you extend the line towards it in case you run out of space, because sometimes it can be a little tight. Now, the next step is to copy the title over. Okay, so again, this would be the effect of hours of sunlight on the growth of ryegrass. Now, the next job is to plot the data. All right, and you can only plot the data you have. Don't extend lines past that or anything like that. Now, so at the 2 hour mark, we had 22 centimeters of growth. So you go up to here and you plot your data. At the 4 hour mark, you had 8 hours of growth. So you go to 4 hours and up to 8, and you plot your data where they intersect each other. At the 6 hour mark, you had 10 centimeters of growth. So you go up, go to the 6, then up, and where it intersects with the 10 centimeter mark. At 8 hours of growth, you have 16 centimeters. So you find the 8 hour mark, and you go over where it intersects with the 16 centimeter mark, and you plot your data. You plot your point. All right, so now at the 10 hour mark, it's 22 centimeters once again. So you find the 10 hour mark, you go up to where it intersects with the 22 hour mark line. And then at the 12 hour mark, you have 18 centimeters again. Back down to 18. Okay, now, the next thing to do is connect the points. And in our graph, we're going to use a ruler. And try and do this as straight as possible on this screen. But try to do your best. Okay, so what you should notice is that I graphed just where the points are. I started at the first point and I went to the second point. I did not go in any space between here and here or afterwards. The reason I don't do that is because there's no data for those two areas. So you can't plot it. You just plot what data you have in the data table. Now, if there was a double line graph, you might include a line of a different color. Okay, let's just use red for now. So you might have something that goes like this. If you have a double line graph, then you'll have to make a key. So you might do something like this is bluegrass growth. And then the blue would be the ryegrass growth. I should have done it opposite, right? But you should get the point by now. Like, you plot only the data you have, and if you have a double line graph, you might have to make a key. Okay, so just so you know, I plotted the red line, the bluegrass. I just made that up. I didn't base that on anything. I was just trying to show you what it would be like if you had a double line graph, how you'd have to make a key. If you don't have different colors, other ideas to make, you can make each point a triangle of one, and of the other you can just keep it a circle. It's up to you, but when you make a graph, if it's more than one set of information, you're going to have to make a key. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, you're going to be practicing this in class, so if you're stuck or held up or can't figure out what scale to use, now, just to remind you, the scale has to be multiples of the same number you pick to start the first line. So if you chose 2 here, you're going to go up by 2s. If you chose 1, you're going to have to go up by 1s. If you choose 5, you're going to have to go up by 5s. Some of the common sets of numbers that I like to use, and I would suggest you use too, start with 1. If it doesn't fit on the graph, go to 2. If that doesn't fit, go to 5. If 5s don't fit, go to 10s. And then after that, it's kind of like multiples of 10s or numbers that are easier to work with. 25 is easy to work with. 50, 100. You should get the point by now. So pick a scale that's easy to work with, but will spread out your information throughout the entire graph. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.